Before we dive into the blood-soaked madness of this 88 film slasher classic collection review, a quick heads up for listeners and viewers alike. These episodes come straight from the podcast Under the Stairs archives, recorded before the launch of the YouTube channel and long before video podcasts became part of the show. These reviews were originally crafted purely for audio. So if the production feels a little rougher around the edges or a little more stripped back than current episodes, that's because you're hearing the show in its earlier form, raw, passionate, and let's be honest, a little waffly at times. Whether you're revisiting these reviews or discovering them for the first time, please sit back and relax and enjoy this trip through the golden age of mass killers, inventive gore, and VH era nightmares. This podcast is not safe for work and will feature movie spoilers. It will feature scenes described of a graphic nature. It will contain language which most listeners may find offensive. Welcome to the podcast Under the Stairs. Hi everyone and welcome to the podcast Under the Stairs. This is your Sunday 88 film slasher classic series of reviews. I'm your host Duncan. Welcome to the show. Up on this one we are doing disc number 43 in the collection. This one is Schizoid. Oh yeah. Now, I was really excited about this one. It's a new one for me. I've never seen it before. I don't even know by reputation. All I know is black glove killer with a pair of scissors and Klaus Kinski. And that is enough to give me an erection. So I was very much looking forward to checking this one out. The review for that movie is coming up after the first break. Now, this is the end of a week of podcasting. I've had quite a bit of fun this week. It's been kind of cool. Done some screener stuff, which was always a delight. Not only did you get a little bit of William Castle action on Monday, but I got a chance to sit down with Justin McConnell, the director of Clapboard Jungle, a movie which is available on Blu-ray right now via Arrow Video, or it's available tomorrow on the Arrow channel, which you get 33 days if you sign up for, so you can go and check it out. A great kind of talking heads and kind of biopic of a man struggling to get a movie financed and released. A ton of fun for sure. Yesterday we did Black Test Car, which was also a screener from that Arrow channel, which I got, which was a surprisingly interesting little espionage movie from Japan from 1962. Over on the Teapots Collective today, you got a brand new episode of Opera Omnia. Myself and Bo Ransdell continuing our jaunt through the movies of David Fincher, stopping at movie number 4, Fight Club. It is a great episode. Please go forth and check it out. And whilst you're checking out other things that I've done this week, I appear in a guest capacity on the Strong Language and Violent Scenes podcast, Doing the Stuff. So they're a Glasgow-based podcast. Go across, check them out. I'm on the newest episode. Just type in Strong Language and Violent Scenes. You'll find their podcast and hear me chat about the stuff, because enough is never enough. I also had an episode of Jaws is Shite, another regrettable outburst, drop as well. It dropped on Friday. Myself, the Baz, and the phenomenal Scott Liam vs. Evil sat down, drank a lot, talked a lot of shit. It gets a bit messy. That episode is available as well. For everything that I'm on, you can check out tputscast.com, and that has all the links there. Right, let's get into this one, shall we? I'm going to take a very short break. You're going to hear promos for shows that I love. You're going to hear the trailer for Schizoid. When I return, I'm discussing that movie right after this.
Hey, feeling down? Feeling low? Not enough podcasts about movies in your life? Why not try?
They must be destroyed on sight!
The new Podcast Cure-All, sure to get you right with the world and on a path to better living. We have exploitation, we have Italian horror, we have zombies, we have slashers, we have crime films, we have spaghetti westerns, we even have sci-fi and sex comedies. So take a dose of...
They must be destroyed on sight!
As needed, and let the hosts, Lee Russell, Daniel Harper, Paul Romali, and the odd guest host cure what ails you.
Warning, may cause atrophy, African consumption, black fever, bone shave, chin cough, colic, cramp colic, dropsy of the brain, elephantitis, grocer's itch, jaundice, mania, miasma, mortification, palsy, Pott's disease, rheumatism, scurvy, St. Anthony's fire, summer complaint, and worm fit in some people. Consult a physician before listening.
Sick with revenge, twisted with hate.
Hello? Hello?
You make me sick. Schizoid. Dear Julie, don't let me do it again.
And welcome back. So you've just heard the trailer for Schizoid. This one is disc number 43 in the Slasher Classics collection. Let's go to the website, see the deets. It says, in this lurid shocker, a newspaper advice columnist played by Mariana Hill of Blood Beach fame starts receiving threats from a mysterious person. At the same time, the female members of her psychiatrist, played by Klaus Kinski of Crawlspace themed therapy group, are being murdered one by a maniac wielding a large pair of scissors. Could these incidents be linked? Donna Wilkes of Angel and Jaws 2, Craig Wasson of Body Double, Flo Gerish of Don't Answer the Phone, and Christopher Lloyd of Back to the Future also star. The deets for this one is currently still on sale, and it is a limited edition slipcase 3000 made. That's the one that I've got, which contains a limited edition booklet by Matthew Edwards, featuring an interview with Flo Lawrence, aka Flo Gerish. This is in DTS HD MA dual mono with English subtitles. There's an audio commentary with Troy Holworth and Nathaniel Thompson, an interview with the writer-director David Paulson, and the original trailer. The technical specs are that this is region locked to region B, the picture format is HD 185.1, audio format is DTS HD MA mono, language is English, subtitles English, certification is E15, and it is a ball-hair under an hour and a half in length. So yeah, I didn't know anything about this one. Very kind of, to say I was excited is maybe an understatement. I do enjoy Klaus Kinski, especially when Klaus Kinski starts appearing in movies in the 80s. It's it's a different time period for the great man, and I always feel you get a little bit something special from his performances, mostly because he's a highly unpredictable actor who has a very striking look. The front cover for this reminded me very much of kind of giallo, and to be honest with you, this movie more than borrows a little bit from the giallo subgenre, specifically the look of the killer. It's a trench coat, it's black gloves, he's wearing a hat, he's in the shadows, he's wielding bladed weapons. These are all the kind of tropes and setups of the giallo. There's a bit of trauma in the background of the killer, he's picking off people in an order which doesn't make sense at the beginning of the watch, and the movie is littered with red herrings from start to finish. There are some things that make this movie kind of awesome, and other things that sadly bring it down quite a bit in my estimation. I got very giddy and excited with the kick-off of it, but a couple of things maybe lower it down. The cinematography isn't great in this movie. It kind of has an almost Columbo TV movie feel, specifically in the locations, but also the actual camera grain itself kind of cheapens it a little bit. There is too many red herrings in my opinion for this one. I think you need to know kind of where you're going with your red herrings and how many you have in here, but it sets up so many potential variables that I feel it lessens the excitement of the overall reveal just a little bit. I also think that some of the acting in here is not great, although it has a surprising cast. It's interesting to see a young Christopher Lloyd here, and a kind of, not a particularly large role, but a decent one. Craig Wasson's in here. He's a delight to watch on screen. And the female members of the cast, where it's Donna Wilkes or Flo Gerish, are also pretty cool. Klaus Kinski is phenomenally weird in this movie. It's kind of understated by Kinski performances, but the eyes are always mental, and that's fun to check out as well. I think the deaths are kind of awesome in this one, and the setup with that kind of Giallo-esque killer works surprisingly well for it in a slasher setting. I mean, it has those elements carried over, and that's about it. You're not really getting much more in the way of the kind of Giallo tropes out with that, and that's fine, because this is a slasher movie, and I'll double down on this one. The Slasher Classics collection has put out, wait for it, another slasher. The later we get into this series, the more slashers they are giving me, the happier I'm getting. And the time period's really weird as well. This is 1980, so this is, on the cusp, almost spitting distance to Friday the 13th, really taking off and defining how most modern slashers would be made, and also kind of post-Halloween, so we're in that awkward time period where we don't quite know what we're doing, but we know the Italians are doing stuff, so we're kind of copying it a little bit. I think overall this movie doesn't have a lot to make it remarkably stand out, and that's where the big negative comes down. I feel at times it drags its heels and it doesn't have a particularly long run time. I feel like some of the setups feel so blatantly tailored and obvious that it kind of feels like, right, just get to the bit we all know that's coming. And that's even trying for me to put myself in the mindset of someone in 1980. I still feel at times some of this is a bit too predictable, including the use of the red herrings, which are kind of obvious to see through. There's not a really tight script here for the mystery, so I almost wish that they'd kind of hung off of doing it as much as they did, in favour of just kind of leaning into some more of the brutality. I think for the most part the acting across the board, even though the script's a bit ropey, the acting's great, and the deaths are kind of cool and inventive as well for the time. So overall, Schizoid's a bit of a mixed bag, if I'm honest. I love the setup. I like the idea of the agony aunt persona. I love the idea of a group of patients being killed off, and their psychiatrist being played by Klaus Kinski, clearly the most mental looking man on the planet. You wouldn't go to him for help of any sort, let alone psychiatric, but I kind of enjoyed those elements. He's fun to watch. Like, you could put Klaus Kinski in anything and I'm going to be entertained, and he's entertaining for sure. So I didn't dislike this movie. I'm going to be honest, I'd be reluctant to say that I really liked it as well, and I don't even think it sits between that really liked and liked. So I think I liked this movie, and I think it's fair to say that I like this movie and nothing more. I'd probably revisit Schizoid again, but if I was doing that, it'd be with a group of friends and a programme of films where I was trying to tick off different aspects to do with kind of maniac killers or something. It would fit interestingly in there, maybe as a middle feature, when you're getting a bit of downtime, you're getting pizza and beer at that point. That's the sort of placement for a movie like this for sure. So yeah, 3 out of 5 for Schizoid. Certainly a slasher movie, which makes me happy. Certainly one of the better ones overall in the collection, but still not top tier slasher, if I'm being honest. A weird little oddity, and I'm glad that I've ticked this one off the list. I'm going to take my final break. When I come back, I'm closing out this show and revealing where we're going with disc number 44 right after this. You've been listening to the podcast Under the Stairs. This has been your Sunday 88 film slasher classic series of reviews, looking at disc number 43 in the collection, a little movie called Schizoid. In 3 weeks' time, we will be continuing our journey through the collection. To be honest, we're actually starting to round out this collection now. I believe the last time I spoke to you might have been around the time they were doing their April Fools, in which they announced that they were closing the collection out with disc 50. and the reveal of the title was Puppet Master, which is already out on 88 Films, so I mean that's a fake story. However, they did come back and say that a couple of the things they announced were essentially true, and most of it was false. So I'm not entirely sure whether or not the collection is going to finish at number 50. Part of me kind of feels like they've done enough with this collection and they're starting to scrape the barrel. You'll see what that means when I talk about the next movie, which I 100% do not think is a fucking slasher. I've seen it years and years and years ago and I don't remember it being a slasher. So we will swing into that for sure. But I'm kind of feeling at this stage now we could probably put it to bed with 50. And if that's right, realistically we only have about 7 of these episodes left to go. And we're almost caught up with the collection anyway. So I reckon sometime in July we'll be fully caught up with the slasher collection. There will be a couple of the Italian collection out by then, and we'll have essentially the next 3 titles within the next month and a half, so I can bring that series back, but then it's only 3 episodes and then it's back on hold again. So yeah, what I'm basically saying is realistically in the next 2 to 3 months these series are going to probably dry up, and it's just going to be the Arrow video assortment running every third Sunday, or maybe even alternate it every second Sunday as a way to continue that run. Plenty of Arrow titles in the collection. Anyway, this number 44 is 10 to Midnight, a movie that I 100% do not think is a slasher movie. Let's do some details on this one. According to the website, it says Charles Bronson is a hero all the way as a rogue cop pursuing a deranged killer in this action-packed suspense thriller, serving up vigilante justice as only he can. Bronson delivers one of his more riveting performances in this exceedingly well-made film. Bronson plays Leo Kessler, a clinical Los Angeles cop on the trail of Warren Stacy, played by Gene Davis, a homicidal maniac who turns rejection from a beautiful woman into ultimate revenge. When the legal system sets Stacy free, Kessler plants evidence to put him behind bars for good, but Kessler's plan backfires, leaving him with only one option: to hunt down Stacy on his own before the crazed killer strikes again. Special features on this are, once again, limited edition slipcase up to 3,000 copies, limited edition set of 4 collectible postcards up to 3,000, a new 4K transfer, remastered original mono audio, optional English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, audio commentary with author and Charles Bronson expert Paul Talbot, producing Bronson, an interview with producer Lance Hull, remembering Bronson, interview with actor Robert F. Lyons, Knife and Death, interview with actress Jenna Tomasina, I think is how you pronounce that, Charlie's Partner, interview with actor Andrew Stevens, Cop Sleaze, Mike Malloy discusses sleazy cops in films, a stills gallery, radio spots and original trailer. Technical specs, Region B, picture format HD 1851, audio format DTS HDMA mono, English language, subtitles are English, certification is an 18, runtime an hour and 41 minutes. So there you go. That is where we're going in just a couple of weeks' time for sure. Right. There's a multitude of ways to check out podcasts on this test. Wherever you're listening to us right now, hit subscribe. That way you get the shows as and when they drop and access to the entire back catalogue. Subscribe to the Teapot's Collective feed for Where to Begin With, Opera Omnia, Doing the Nasty and Chronicle. Visit the website teapotscast.com where all the shows are housed, as well as Jaws' Shite and other regrettable outbursts. We have a merch page, it's teapotscast.bigcartel.com. You can visit us on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/teapotscast. The Teapots Collective is facebook.com/teapotscast. And Jaws' Shite and other regrettable outbursts is facebook.com/groups/regrettablepod. You can reach out and interact with myself and the Baz on the twin prongs of social media sexiness. Instagram and Twitter both can be followed at teapotscast. The podcast Under the Stairs returns tomorrow with more William Castle at Columbia action. Myself and Derek will be looking at 13 Frightened Girls in a way that doesn't make us sound pervy. Yeah, the review for that movie drops tomorrow. So until then, wherever you are, what the time zone is and whatever you're up to in this big bad world of ours, please take care of yourselves out there. This is Duncan McLeish broadcasting live from Under the Stairs and I am signing off.